Okay, so the project I've chosen for this tutorial is pretty darn ambitious, but we'll go ahead and plow through it anyway. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to add links, and I'm going to add a one-way system down here. So I don't really actually know how to add a link through the menu system, but here's how I do it otherwise. I pick a link and I just copy it, Control C, and then I hit Control V and it goes into this mode. And then I start from a node that I have and just click, and it says add a new A node. No, I don't want to add a new A node because I'm trying to use an A node that I already have. So let's see. Add new B node. Yes. So it detected the A node and now it wants to add a B node. So I say yes. And do I want to do automatic numbering? Yeah, I do want to do automatic numbering. And there you go. So there it's going to add that. Okay, so now it's added a link, but the kind of link that it added is a ramp. So I don't really want this to be a ramp. I want it to, and I also don't want it to just be one lane. So down here it says it's a one-lane road and it's like this. So what I'm really going to do is make this into a 2-lane road, and I might even make it into a 3-lane, but I think I'll start with 2. And I also want this to be a principal arterial, so it's going to be a one-way frontage road that's a principal arterial and it's a 2. So that's the way that's going to be. Now, because this is another link, it's available for the other, it's a master network, so this link is still a ramp in all my other scenarios, but in this one scenario it's not. It's a 2 now. So here I'm going to make this a 2 and a 2. It's a principal arterial. All right, so now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to Control C copy this one, and I'm going to Control V paste it, click on the previous one, and it's going to be on the inside. Is the way I've checked the Google Earth photo, and I can fit this into here between the existing buildings. So I don't think I'm actually hitting any existing buildings when I do this. But for modeling's sake, sometimes you go ahead and hit buildings just so that the links can be spread out and you can see what's going on more easily. So all right, so then I'm going to come and connect to this one like that, and then from there I'm going to just say okay, that's done. And this link, I don't actually want it like that, so I'm going to turn this link off in this scenario. I'm going to say it's a 0. I don't have to change the functional class because just turning the link off is enough. Go from this connection point to here. No, I don't want to do that, because what that'll do is it will allow continuity for my frontage road to go onto here, but it'll also allow people from I-15 to get off and go here. So I don't really want to do that, which means I don't really want to do this. I don't want to use this link at all. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to say this link is really a 0. And this one I'm going to say copy, paste, and I'll just put an intermediate node here, an intermediate node here, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect to right here. All right, so now I'm connected like that. So now I have a continuous frontage road that comes up here and connects into this one, and at this point it becomes 2-way in this direction, but it's 1-way if you want to keep going northbound. So that's what I've done so far. All right, now let me keep going and see if I can figure out how to fix it on this side. This one right here, I'm going to leave this one on, but it's only going to be a 2-lane road. And right here it's also going to be a 2-lane road, because I don't really need that many lanes anymore since I'm not carrying this forward that far. 2, 2, Okay, so that's that. The next thing I want is I'm going to copy, control V, and starting at this point, I'm going to go down like this and drop one right there, and I'll go right here. And okay, that's a good place to stop for that. Now I've got to turn off this ramp right here, so this is going to be a 0 now. And now I've hooked into the interchange, and then that's kind of the end of my system. So this can go ahead and be a ramp, but I want it to be a 2-lane ramp, like that, and rather than just a 1. All right, I know what I want to do. I'm going to copy that blinking blue one, come off of this link, and go directly to this one. All right, so, and then I need to turn off this one, which is a 0 now, and then I'm connected in there. Now this shows there's that you can come and go back on it like this. No engineer could actually design anything like this at this spot. They'd have to redirect the traffic up to here somehow. But I'm going to assume that they can do that, and I don't want to mess around with the particulars of the construction project right now. It's enough to just say this will be able to connect to that, and these people will be able to get over to here also. So it's kind of a quick and dirty thing, but it'll work really well for just demonstrating whether this is a decent idea or not. All right, so then I brought that. So I've now got a 1-way to here, and I've got this one as a 1-way. Well, it's shown as a 2-way. There's no arrow on it, but there will be an arrow pointing southbound once we run the scenario network. So I actually want this now to, instead of be 2 lanes, it's going to be 3, because I have to have extra capacity on that side since I'm getting rid of some of the capacity on the south side. So I've got to have this be bigger. So this is going to be 3, and then let's go down through here, and I'm going to make it 3. So what I'm doing is actually reducing the number of lanes through the corridor by a lot, because you can see that the south side frontage road had 3 lanes each direction before, and now it just has 3 directions in 1 way. So I got rid of 3 lanes. And on the top, it had 2 lanes each direction, and now it'll only have 3 lanes in 1 direction. So that's also a reduction. And also they had turning lanes. These things would have had turning lanes, and in my system they don't need turning lanes. So I've really reduced everything by a whole lot, and so I'm just making this into 3, and there you go. Then I will start building it down to here. I'm going to hook up to this road, but I won't do it right now. But I need a B node, so I'm going to connect that right there. I'm going to hit pause and just show you some of the things I did afterward. And just show like this. And you can see this link right here travels all the way under the freeway without connecting to it. But I now want to be able to connect to the frontage roads. So I'm going to do a... well, actually, I guess I'm not going to really do a split. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this one over here to this link that I already... Nope, I guess I do have to... well, this is a road that I'm going to mess up some transit lines on. So what I really want to do is just connect it, and then I'll turn off the other one. So it's not really a link split, I'm sorry. So right here is what I'm doing with that. And then this one, I'm just going to turn it off in my scenario. Okay, so I've pretty much finished how I want to do this frontage road thing, and it's a little hard to tell what's going on in the master network, so we're going to switch over to the scenario network to figure it out, or to make sure that it's all good. So to do that, I need to come over here, and I need to create scenario network, so I'm going to add a sibling, I think. Yeah, let's try that. I'm not sure if this is the right thing to do, but LRP 2050 FR is the code that I started using for that. And so now I've got it right here. And so maybe I should have made a child, because then it would inherit all of the previous 2050 stuff, and I could only just change this one thing. Okay, so I'm going to delete. I'm going to create a child this time. Add child, LRP 2050 FR. So now it's creating it. And all right, so now you can see that it has taken on all of the attributes of the parent. So the only thing that I need to change right here is this FR, and this thing has got to be FR also. And then I'm going to go next and just confirm that that's really correct. Everything else is correct. Next. And yeah, it has to be correct because I only am changing the lanes. So alright, so hit save and close. And now I'm on this scenario. And what I want to do now is just run input processing so I can look at, okay, so this is the thing I want to run. So I'm going to hit the run button and run from current group only. Okay, so let me show you what I've done. So I've gone in here and run the scenario network now, and you can see that I've added some frontage roads, one-way frontage roads, and I've made this road into just 2 lanes each direction instead of 3. And what else did I do? So I connected this east-west road to the frontage roads, but not to I-15 directly. Oh, I made a mistake right here. I meant to have a way for people to get off I-15 and get to here. So to fix that, I go back to the master network and come to this link right here and say, didn't really want that. I meant it to be on. So now I just need to save that master network, and this link will turn back on again once I rerun the input processor. And then I also, instead of having this weird hook down here to get onto I-15, I have it over here, and you can go straight across. I made a new bridge to get over to here. And on this side I did a one-way frontage road, and I made it, it's a little hard to tell what's going on, but I made it so that you can travel through here and get onto the frontage road. It's awkward construction, but I didn't want to change anything because it would mess up my true shape. In a real project analysis, I would probably do a better job and make it look better. But in this case, I just need to know that the connections are all available and constructible. And I think they're constructible, so I'm going to go ahead and just make the connection. So it looks pretty good to me. It looks like I've made some new accesses, and it's a little easier to get to this road than it was before. So all of that should be pretty good. And now I can test running it. So I'm going to hit pause while I get that set up, and I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so before I run, I just want to save all so that everything's ready to go. I'm back on this level, and I can go to this thing right here and hit the run button here, or I think I can hit run button up here too, but I'll hit it right here because it's a good place. And then we'll see what happens when it's all done. Alright, so now I have run that model and it's all finished. It's right here, and I'm looking at the summary network. I've already opened it, so I've come over to here And it looks like it mostly did what I expected it to, but in some things it didn't really. It's my first iteration on this idea, and it didn't. I can see opportunities for improvement. So going along here, I can see that this frontage road attracted 3,000 cars per day, and this one 2,000. I thought it would get more than that, and it probably would get a little more than that if I can connect it to like this road, which I should, and there's no reason not to. And over here, there's some zones, centroids that I should connect to, so that would be an improvement to make. Here, it's I've drawn a lot of traffic down to here that wasn't here before, so I'd have to compare these networks to see where it came from, because more might be a good thing. It usually means I've relieved some other routes, but it also increases this route, so I got to learn about that. Coming along here, I got 13,000 here, 12 here. The new connection that I made, the new bridge, 15,000 going northbound across the bridge. That's pretty good. Almost expected that. I thought this road would come down more because I have a better connection to this road. But one of the things that I did notice is that these roads are, if I look at the free flow speed here, free flow speed is 33, and if I look at the free flow speed on this one, it's also 33 because they're both defined as principal arterials, functional type, so that's the reason. But let me show you. This is a problem in the data and the way that the model is set up. This is those two roads. So St. George Boulevard is this one, and it's defined as 33 because it's a principal arterial. This one over here is also 33 because it's also a principal arterial. Now I ask you, which one of these is going to be faster? And considering free flow speed is supposed to take into account traffic signals and cross streets and congestion, or not congestion, but just this one's going to have a ton of traffic signals all along it. And there's just a lot of activity going on here versus this one up here, which is pretty isolated. There's not a lot of development next to it, and there's not even potential for development because this is a hill, and so you can hardly build on it. So this one is definitely faster. I would say it almost certainly 5 miles per hour faster, and might be even 10 miles an hour faster when measured end to end. So that is a mistake in the model that the model people would do well to try to identify and fix. So that's part of the reason why this didn't come down, was I made a better connection, but I made a connection to a fundamentally slow road. So I need to show that this road is really faster than that in the next iteration. So that's, but you can see that it did what it was supposed to do. I've measured, this is one-way volume. I've got one way here, one way there. So it worked. And that's the end of this tutorial, I think. It's really long right now, so the end. In the next one, I'm going to try to compare the previous 2050 with this 2050.